Alright, so this is the last problem I'm going to go over for this lesson on on calculating we're using the law of sine and cosines to calculate the angles and sides of triangles that are not right triangles. Hopefully it helps. I mean, I think it hopefully does. If it doesn't, then let me know, because yeah, I can save a lot of time in my life. um, yeah, and if there's any feedback that you have or ways that I can improve these videos, definitely I'm open to suggestions. Thanks. So here we go. The last problem that we're going to work on is the application problem. So go ahead and take out the application problem. The application problem. It is asking you to find the length of the river. So it says land surveyors often need to use the law of cosines and sine and the law of sines. This is like a real world application. So if you're like, when the heck am I going to use this? Even if you're not going to be a land surveyor, just know that you could help one out one day, and by knowing the law of sine and cosines. But land surveyors often need to use the law of sines and the law of cosines to find measurements of real world objects that cannot be conveniently measured. One such example is shown in the diagram at the right. Determine the length of Nagle Lake. Well, the length of Nagle Lake is this right here. So what am I trying to find? I'm trying to find this side. What side is that? Well, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw my triangle that I see. Then I'm going to draw everything that I know. I know that this is 162 meters on this side, 162 meters for this side. Do I know another side? Yes, I know that this side is 136 meters. I know an angle of 78 degrees. And I know this side is Nagle Lake, the length of Nagle Lake. Okay, so if I know two sides and I have an angle, oh my goodness gracious, we have a slice of cheese between the two slices of bread. Woohoo! So basically we have an included angle and two sides that we know. What can we do? The law of cosines. So the law of cosines. We're going to use the law of cosines in order to figure out what, let's say that Nagle Lake, let's just call that side X, okay? Side X. Or because our problem said uses A, B's, and C's, most of the time because our formulas use A, B's, and C's, let's just call that side C. So let's just say that side C, we know that if that's side C, these has to be sides A and B, or A and B, vice versa. Doesn't really matter. Both of the formulas will work the same way. So let's say, okay, so C squared is equal to A squared plus B squared. Well, let's say that's A, that's C. So ABC is what our triangle is labeled. So we know that this is side A, this is side B. So A squared plus B squared minus 2AB times the cosine of angle C. Do we have the cosine of angle C? Can we find that? Yes. So, alright, so now we have to plug into our formula and figure out what the value of side C is. So C squared is equal to the side A squared, 162 squared, plus side B squared, 136 squared, minus 2 times 162 times 136 times the cosine of angle C, 78 degrees. Sweet. We have all the values. We just plugged into that big baby. So, can I find the value for C? Just take the square root. So when you take the square root, this is when you have to be super careful. Super careful. You have to be super careful. Because, why? Because No, it's because you have to be able to plug into your calculator exactly correct. Otherwise, it's going to screw up your answer. So make sure you plug into your calculator correctly. That'll give you the C value is going to be equal to, after you plug it in, you should have gotten 188.623 meters. And if you're asking yourself, well, what the heck does that mean? Well, I just calculated this C value. That tells me that if I was a land surveyor, I can approximate the length of Nagle Lake to be 188.623 meters. That's pretty baller. I mean, for real, like if you can calculate the length of a lake without even measuring it with a yardstick or something, that's pretty cool. And one way to do that is using the law of cosines or the law of sines. We did that by using the law of cosines in this problem. Cool, so that's the end of video 3, or video 4, I think. And if you have any more questions on any of these problems, definitely feel free to give me a call, drop me a message, email, and I'll try to help you out. You know your big exam is coming up on Monday. Big exam is on Monday. These problems, these are just the beginning problems. So the problems will get harder, but they all involve knowing the most basic ideas with geometry. That all the angles in a triangle add up to 180 degrees. That if you have, and like when will you use the law of cosines? When will you use the law of sines? So you will use the law of sines whenever you have an angle and its corresponding side, okay? So if you ever have a side, if you can try to figure out what that angle is that's across from that side that you know, then you can finally use the law of sines, which is a lot easier to use than the law of cosines. Law of cosines, 3 formulas, 2 conditions in order to use it. You can use it whenever you have, what, all 3 sides, or you can use it whenever you have 2 sides with the included angle, just like we did here. 2 sides with the included angle. Deuces. Study hard, and if you have any questions, just holler at me. I'm finally gonna get to go home. Peace.